small again. Hey, hey, hi. I'm Queen D,
And I'm Clay D.
and we are back with episode 8, season 2 of Your Friends and Neighbors. I wouldn't know if these were my type of neighbors. Would you say they're your neighbors?
No, not at all.
This episode was all that and a bag of chips. And I have mine, but Clay don't have his. But this is my kabocha. I'm trying to cleanse. Anyway, but so let's get right into it. It starts off with um, this monologue,
Yeah.
right? It was kind of different. It was like a 10-minute thing, right?
The 10 minutes,
And
bro. That's
and
usually most episodes are.
yeah, and it was about the daughter,
Yeah, the episode
Tori.
was I Feel Lost About Me.
Yes, yes, and it was really interesting because it showed everybody and where they're at, and everyone seems to be spiraling. At first it showed Barney and Cooper in the gym because Cooper was talking to Ash Owens, right?
Yep.
Oh God, you're yawning in the show already. Go get some. Go get a glass of water. Go get a wine glass with some water. We can't have you
No, I'm
yawning.
okay.
That-
I'll get
Stop.
water. I'm good.
Stop. You're not going to yawn through this whole thing. You do this every time. So let's start again.
Okay, I'll just edit it out.
Yeah, but we don't have. You don't even like to edit. So let's start again.
I can just chop it off.
How did it start? How did the show start? It was a long monologue.
Well, basically,
Do you remember what was the first scene?
yeah, they were over in the living room of Mel's house, I believe.
Doing what?
They're talking about their cases. Remember, they got arrested.
Okay, now I know it's okay. So now we're going to start. You edit that whole thing out. So let's start again. Let's just pretend we just started. Hey everyone. Hi Queen. What is wrong with me tonight? I might have to have me a glass of wine. Let's start again. Hi everyone. Hi, this is Queen D,
And I'm Clay D.
and we are back with episode 8, season 2 of Your Friends and Neighbors. And this was interesting. It started off with 10 minutes going into the show. I almost forgot that they had an opening. And I love that opening. It's so creative. But anyway, it starts off with Mel and Cooper with their daughter Tori and a lawyer. And they're discussing the fact that in last week's season, where Mel had pushed over a porta potty with her sister-in-law, which is Cooper's sister, and they pushed it over and with all that nasty pile of it. And that was human waste at that, because she was angry and she was also drunk. She was angry about these neighbors and their damn dog. And she didn't like that the dog kept bringing its wasting and pooping all over in her lawn. And it just became neighbor versus neighbor. And Tori, unfortunately, got drunk at a party because she was depressed because all her girlfriends, everybody's going to college and they're all discussing their colleges. And she decided to opt out of going to college, but what she didn't realize that would also make her like opt out of friends too, because now she doesn't have anything in common. She doesn't know what she wants to do with her life. And so therefore she was kind of depressed and she got drunk. And so it shows how each person in Cooper's family is spiraling down. And it's because there's no cohesiveness. We have the daughter living with her father, Cooper, Tori. And then you have the mom who's going through menopause and she's always just upset about everything and frustrated and miserable, and she won't go see a doctor. And we're talking about a psychotherapist who knows better, but this is her life and she's not really thinking about it. And Cooper also is depressed. After all, his father died. So they just came from this horrible funeral. And when I say horrible, I don't mean it in the fact that the funeral's horrible, the fact that everyone just feels so down. And it was just depressing to watch everyone at his house try to console them all. And they were all trying to find their footing and kind of suppress what they were really feeling. So it's a lot going on, wouldn't you say, Clay?
Yeah, there's certainly a whole lot going on. This was a very packed episode for sure.
The layers on top of layers on top of layers, wouldn't you say?
Yes, for sure.
What's interesting is that the attorney, which is Cooper's attorney from when he was sent to jail because of being caught and burglarizing one of the homes and stealing, and he was framed for murder from Mel's uh, friend as well as his lover for a short period of time, which is
Hmm.
crazy. It's like crazy neighbors, but anyway. And so he blackmailed her, his attorney, because he caught the attorney sleeping with her daughter's boyfriend. So that's how come Cooper didn't have to pay for his legal advice and for her taking care of him in court and everything. And she kind of got him off a little bit. It could have been better, but so they are asking her, what can we do to save Tori from going to jail? And with this DUI. And she's telling them exactly what she feels will happen, and they just won't accept it because they feel privileged. And so, with this privilege, they're like, can't you do better than that? Can't you do better than that? She's like, no, I don't think I can
Is
do
that
better
the
than that.
best you can
Is that
do?
the best you can do?
They're
Um,
pushing it. They kept on trying.
they just kept on and kept on. But anyway, so that's how it starts off. And then it also shows um, Cooper getting ready to take his son, letting his son drive. Parker is driving, and it's so funny because they're carpooling in this like SUV minivan, and you got his sister in the back with his daughter Tori. You got him and Parker, and he's teaching Parker how to drive, and Parker's doing the best he can, and he keeps putting on the brake too hard, and he's like, whoa, 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 and they're all complaining. So Parker gets angry, and he says, "Look." First of all, he says to his sister, you are suspended with your license and you can't even drive. And then he says to his aunt, and you can't drive either because of your situation. And dad, you are just complaining. And I need some concentration here. And it was just kind of cute to see how this whole thing played out with the carpooling. And they pull up at the school and high school, and then you see Ash Owens there pulling up in the what kind of car was that, Clay?
Sounds like a Ferrari or Porsche.
A Ferrari. That's the one that lifts up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Ferrari or Porsche.
yeah. Fancy because he's super rich. He's just so wealthy. And they show Parker's girlfriend coming out, which just happens to be Ash's daughter. And it shows how his sister, what's his sister again?
It's, his sister is. Hold up.
Well, his
Right,
sister
right.
goes
Yeah.
inside the school and she's teaching. She's now a music teacher. So you got everyone being carpooled. And then you see Owens talking to Cooper saying, hey, I know you're down and out. And this offer that I have for you is still open if you want. I'm not like trying to push you or anything, but I'm just letting you know there's a way you can get out of all of this, is what he says to him. And Cooper's like, that funny look he always has on his face.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And so, and that's how that scene goes on. And then let's go from there, Clay.
Yeah, then the show Elena's situation where she's being yeah, so Coop's sister is Allie.
Yeah, Allie. But anyway, moving on. Then they show how
Elena,
Elena,
she is being
I'm talking about the real estate when she's taken to the properties with the lady.
yeah, so Elena took and Coop did another classic robbery, this time at home. And Coop wants to not rob, but break into his old friend's home and steal some baseball cards.
Right. No, but this is the thing. You're jumping ahead a little bit. Let's talk about Ash Owens' girlfriend, who happens to be Mel's
You talking
girlfriend,
about Sam, yeah.
Sam, Samantha, who had to make her way back into society by dating Ash Owens. And so the girls are asking, the two ladies are asking, because they decided to go and visit two of their friends. So how's everything going? She goes, I don't know, I'm just kind of taking it slow. And they're looking at her like, they said, yeah, but he's one of us and he is rich and handsome and he's full of life. Girl, you got a cat, like work with that, because you know how it was before. Because Sam was in jail too for what she had did when she framed Cooper, which is something you're going to have to like rewind and watch all that. But so it shows how she is now accepted back into the fold with the women. in their community because of Ash Owens. And so it shows how then they switched the scene to Cooper's maid, not maid, whose maid is that?
Oh, that's Nick's.
Nick's maid. But anyway, housekeeper, we say now. Or what we call house engineer, he's got
No,
these fan. I'm just
no,
making a
that's oh,
joke.
okay.
I'm just making a joke. I always try to change names and stuff for professions to make it sound fancy. But anyway, and so she gets a visit from some street guy who I think he's a drug dealer. You know, you need a glass of water
Mm, I'm
because
okay.
okay, but here have some of my kabacha. But anyway, so I told you to get your own glass so you would make sure that you would have something to keep your throat nice and wet, and when you speak, and you wouldn't, you know. But anyway, but you have to learn on your own, don't you? But anyway, getting back to the story, that's just a little banter between Clay and I. But what happens is, so we have this drug dealer or whatever kind of dealer he is. Let's put it this way: he's an unsavory character, and Elena, the housekeeper, borrowed some money. No, actually, yeah, she borrowed some money, and it was a large amount to save her brother, who's in jail for stealing her and Cooper's money because they rob houses in the neighborhood. And he's coming back to collect, and he's like, "Hey, I'm just kind of want to find out what's going on because your brother skipped town. You better not skip town, and you better have my money." And she's like, he says, and she goes, "Well, could you give me 2 weeks?" He's like, "I can give you that if you give me." And he kind of hinted that I've always liked you, and she says, "No, let's just be friends." And he says, "Okay, 1 week," and because 2 weeks would you would have to come up with a lot of money because that interest is climbing. And so she calls Coop and says, "Hey, like we got to get busy. We got to work because I need this money, Coop. Don't try to avoid me this time." And so Coop is like, "Okay, okay, okay." Now, in the meantime, Coop has to be in court at 3 o'clock because of his daughter for the hearing, because the daughter really doesn't want Cooper there, and she really doesn't want her mom there. She's mad at both of them. She got angry when the mother says, "How dare you do this and disrespect us and your life?" And she says, "How could you say this to me?" She got kind of fresh, and then Cooper put her in a position. She says, "I don't want you at my hearing," but of course he has to go. She cannot, defend herself. So he's in the house. And I'm like, "Hey, old man, you got a bad bag. You cannot really afford to keep robbing your friends and neighbors'
Not at all.
homes." And his friend Gold is named Gould, right? Gold,
Mm-hmm.
and his wife, who's an influencer, um, they're going out to do some charity and to give some gifts
That
away.
was a funny scene.
That was hilarious. They drive off, and Cooper goes in the house because he knows, he remembers the code and everything. I'm like, "Cooper, how do you remember everybody's code? You standing over his shoulders all the time. How you know everybody's
You
house
remember
code?"
Elena's brother does the security for the whole neighborhood.
Yeah. But anyway, he goes in there, and Elaine says, "Hey, come back with something good because we need a lot of money." And he's like, "Okay." He goes upstairs. He's feeling comfortable. He pulls up a drawer, and he sees all these vintage baseball cards that are worth so much money. You got Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, you got everybody. And he's like, he's looking for the best one. And he's also describing how when he was a small child collecting baseball cards, and it brings back a lot of memories to him. Well, guess what happens? They come back. They come back because they forgot something, and the couple comes back and they're arguing in the house, and he's saying, "You ain't nothing but a white housewife."
Fuchi Mama.
Yeah,
I'm
your
joking around.
Instagram. No, he said white housewife doing nothing on Instagram, showing off your
Looking like a
tits, this and that,
25-year-old. He
trying
kept
to
on
be a
saying,
25 year, and they're getting into it. They're like hitting hard, hitting low, boy. And he is has to go hide in the bathroom, which was all marble. It was so gorgeous. And he's sitting there because he's thinking, "I got to get out here. I'm looking at the clock. I got to get out here. I got to get to my daughter's hearing." And all of a sudden, the spirit of his father appears. Guilt. So, Cooper, you're just sitting here in the bathroom and your daughter has a hearing at 3 o'clock. Is this what you're going to do? And he's like, Dad, I don't have a choice. He's like really talking to him. So his father's there trying to reason with him about his life. And is this what your life is going to be? Is this going to be your legacy? Like you got to do better than this. You have to be an example. And as he's saying that, he says something to him like, it's time for you to go. And Cooper realizes he doesn't have a choice. He can't jump out of the window, it's too high up. He'd probably kill himself. And so he decides, I gotta find a way to get out of this bathroom, get in that car, and get to that courthouse, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So he goes and he opens the door, and as they're yelling, arguing, all in the rooms and throwing stuff, he's running down these big spiral staircase, and he's running by, and they're going from room to room, and then he manages to get out the door and close it. And they stop. They look like, did you hear something? They're like, and then but they're so angry they start arguing again, and he jumps in that car, and they fly off. They drive, and they're driving to the courthouse, and he's there just in time for her to be sentenced. That was good, wasn't
It
it?
was. It certainly was.
Yes, yes. And so the judge, who happens to be a female and a mom, says, my daughter's got in trouble too. So I'm going to give you 6 months and 50 days?
50 hours of
50
community
hours of
service.
community service. And she said, thank you, Your Honor. And she says, do you understand? She goes, yes, ma'am, I understand. And when she's leaving, her mom Mel was standing there because she didn't want her mom there anyway. And she looks at her mom, and her mom kind of looks at him, kind of waves like, I'm here for you, baby. And she just runs into her arms and
Yep.
hugs and just bawls. She's just bawling. She's just crying because she had not really been with her mom. She's been like arguing with her, living with her dad. And that's how that was. And what about the scene with his sister,
Yeah.
Allie? Yeah.
Yeah, where she keeps on hinting that she's going to be moving out all episode long. And it's like she lost her passion with teaching.
Yeah, it's even deeper than that. When you say,
I
don't
would
you,
say so.
what do you think about how Cooper treats her?
I think he treats her, I feel he treats her like a sister who needs help. Now, Allie might see that as it's overbearing and it's not respecting her.
Like a codependent type of
Right.
relationship. Yeah. Um, so Allie is having what we call an epiphany. What's interesting about Allie's character is Allie is the one that's been diagnosed as depressed, the manic depressant or whatever. I don't think she's schizophrenic. I think she's manic depressed or something. Well, she suffers from depression. And if you could see Cooper and his mom and his father when his father was alive, that dynamic, that was something else.
Yeah, it sure
They
was.
showed a little bit of that, and I was like, oh my God. And so she's teaching a class and she's doing an excellent job. Matter of fact, I think she actually surprised herself at how well she is in teaching music. But she's listening, but I don't think she really, I said to Clay, I don't think she really has grieved. I
No,
don't
not at all.
I don't think she has grieved. I don't think Cooper has grieved. I think they're in what we call survival mode. They're so busy into their own lives and all the things that's going on in their life. None of them have cried. They're just like, okay, we're just going to the funeral, we're going to the wake, we're doing this, but they don't have time to grieve. I've yet to see anyone like ball, so to speak. And she's in the classroom, and Cooper had said, maybe, because she says, I want to move out. And he says, you haven't really grieved, but he hasn't grieved either.
Not at all. Mm-mm. Nobody has,
No.
except for
The
the
mother,
mother
the
who
mother's
was
the only one
dead.
that went into fetal position and was crying and bawls and crying. The mother was doing it a weird thing too, because she was like giving everything away at the funeral. After the funeral, she was like, "Here, take his belts, take his clothes, take his shoes." It was weird, wasn't it?
It was.
But that was, I guess, her way. And he'd take the TV, and Cooper was like, "Give me back that TV," you know. But so everyone has their own way of grieving. I think Cooper handles his by walking around like a zombie, showing no feelings at all. It's almost like he's just walking and just looking and talking like he's numb. What do you think?
I certainly definitely agree. He always looks that way, but it was more solemn this time around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So Allie, she's in the classroom and then she's teaching the chords on the guitar, and they just the class is in unison. I'm so impressed with her. And all of a sudden, she's standing there listening, and she's like I'm proud of myself, but it was almost as if, am I in the right space right now? It was almost as if she was going back into childhood. Something clicked in her, and she's standing there as if she was having an out of body experience, right?
For sure.
And so she's like, all of a sudden, she just like grabs her guitar and the case and she puts it in and she walks out of the classroom. And the students going, is she coming back? Because what is she, this is what the students are like wondering what happened to her. She goes home, she starts packing her clothes. While she's upstairs packing, they show Parker and the sister, what's his name again?
You talking about Allie?
Tori.
Tori.
They're
Tori,
on
Tori,
the
yeah.
and Cooper. They're all watching this movie because Cooper loves movies. It's
He does.
75-inch television, and they're having what we call a family moment. And I thought that was so nice. And Cooper leaves and runs upstairs to try to stop Allie. And she's like, I have to go. You have to give me a chance to be on my own. I'm leaving. I have to go, Coop. I have to go. And the sister, Tori, says to her brother Parker, well, it was nice while it lasted, right?
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it sure was.
Mm-hmm. And so she runs down the steps and she leaves. And she's outside, and Cooper is trying to convince her to stay. Well, you're going to need me, and I don't think you should. She says, I'll never know if I don't. He says, and all of a sudden he looks and says, but what if I need you? And I knew that. I knew that's what it was. He did not want to be alone, really. So everything he said was kind of like a mirror and reflection back.
For
He
sure.
really did not want to be alone. And so we almost forgot that part where Sam goes home and her children are playing, having fun with these brand new electric cars. There's Owen on the floor having fun with the children, and he's got a couple of chefs in there.
Yeah, yeah, quite a bit.
Like they're making sushi, they're doing us, and she comes home and she's like, "What are you doing?" He says, "Oh, I wanted to make up for what happened at the party, you know." And she's like, "Well, you don't make up by doing this. I need my space." And you met my children already, and the kids have already they're falling in love with him, and he's even got them saying things of wow, you know. And I, for the first time, I kind of looked at Ash differently. I
Yeah,
thought to
I
myself,
did too.
yeah, I thought that he missed having a wife and children because his daughter is so sassy, isn't she?
For sure. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we don't really see much of her. That's the problem.
yeah, yeah. But she's very sassy and everything. And so I think he just wants a wife and children because his wife died. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Most definitely.
And we'll be right back. Do you need a break?
I'm good.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then we'll keep going. But you can go and get some water if you need it, and I'll just keep talking.
Okay.
But anyway, I can see that Clay has been doing these all nighters. But let's just move on from that. And so, what has happened is she feels overwhelmed. Sam feels overwhelmed, like you are invading my space. You've met my children, which I thought was a scary thing because I'm like, your kids are talking to a stranger and you're giving them toys that easy. What if he would have been a crook, a kidnapper or something? And she did not appreciate him invading her space, even though he thought he was doing something good. But she's a slow burner. She's been through a lot already. After all, she had went to jail for the murder of her husband. But she did not murder her husband. What she did was she shot her husband after he was dead because she was trying to do insurance fraud. That's what happened with Sam. So that's another story. You have to go back and watch that. But so she tells him, hey, I need you to go. I need my space. I feel overwhelmed. And so he's like, okay, 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 I'm going to go, I'm going to go. But there's definitely something there going on because I feel that Ash is alone. I feel that he covers it up with, his businesses, and he pretends to be so super happy. But I think it's a lot deeper than that with Ash Owens. And anyway, so after that, Cooper's outside. He's standing there trying to convince his sister Allie to stay. And she just grabs and hugs him and says, I'll go. He says, well, I'll drive you. She's like, no, I can do this on my own. And the Uber pulls up and she gets in the car and she's off. Now, right after that, I saw a car driving down. It was a van, actually. They pull up and they tase Cooper. They tase him and put him in the van. And we don't know if this is from Ash Owen or is this from maybe Elena's uh, guy that she borrowed this money from. Clay thinks it might be from Elena. I don't think so because he has never met Cooper. I think it has something to do with Ash because when he was talking to Barney, Barney, who is his accountant, his to be all, takes care of his finances and stuff, he was saying to him that, we got to move this money, and Barney is scared to death. And his wife already warned Coop. She says, hey, don't let me have to kill you. You're not gonna mess up my life. I am pregnant again and I got two kids. And I don't know if she meant that or she was just talking, but Grace was letting him know, Barney's wife, that I am already wealthy and my husband Barney can work for my dad. He just refuses. And I need you to convince him to leave. So that's what Barney was discussing with Coop, that I don't want to work for her dad because then I'm indebted to him. And but we got to figure out what to do with this money because they're both scared to death. Barney's afraid because he's already, I believe, taking money from Cooper, and I also believe he's taking money from his other clients as well under the table in some kind of way. And I think that's why he's so frightened. For Cooper's attorneys and his financiers are coming and they're combing through everything, and Barney is like crapping bricks. He is so afraid that they're going to find out something about money laundering, anything that has to do with them. He's scared to death. So that's why I'm wondering if that has something to do with Cooper being kidnapped because this whole money situation. He's already went to one of his uh, people from his job. He's went to one of the people that he used to work with and says, hey, a woman that he was actually sleeping with too, a British woman. He says, hey, I I got to tell you, this is one of his colleagues, there's, I have a problem with this dirty money. And she's like, don't tell me about it. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to have to go back to England and then work in my cousin's or my father's pub doing fish and chips. And, I don't want to know, Coop. Just leave me out of it. And Coop's like, no, but I really need your help. And so she's thinking about it, like, oh, okay, so they kind of left that with a question mark on it. And so that's what happened with that. Now, let's talk about what's going on with Cooper's wife, Mel, his ex wife, which they are still very close. They're like good friends. What has happened is she had to go and apologize because her daughter's attorney, which is also their friends, they remember this is friends and neighbors. She says, listen, you're going to have to apologize because it's already, it's going to be a felony here and you're going to have to make up for this. And so she's like, hey, Clay.
Hey,
And
hey.
so I'm talking about how what happened with, coming a little closer, with Mel talking to the attorney that was with her
Yeah.
daughter. And she's like, you're going to have to apologize. And she's like, I'm not apologizing because and Cooper's like, why? And he says, well, you're the one that took that bag of excrement. And Cooper's like, what are you talking about? It was dog shit. That's what it was. Anyway, so Mel's in a lot of hot water with these new neighbors.
Yeah, she's been in the hot water with it for quite some time. And
Yes, yes.
reality is this: uh, the neighbors are the one who didn't stop their dog I mean, she kept politely asked them, like, can your dog not clap? And honestly, had that been somebody else, they could have gotten in trouble in the first place.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something.
Of the HOA, with the city,
Mm,
you name it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because this community of people, um, I've always said wealthy people, rich people hang with each other, even if they can't stand each other because they don't want to be poor. It's kind of like somebody who has a disease. Move into that. I want to make sure you. It's like someone who has a disease. It's like, I don't know if I want to be close to you because I don't want to catch it, you know? So, so I'm going to stay over here with all the healthy people. Well, that's kind of what I've always felt that. So, but anyway, so Mel has to agree to do this. And if she doesn't, oh, it's going to, I'm going to tell you something, getting off topic. My father hated animals coming on our property as a small child. I can remember it. And he would shoot anything that was not supposed to be on his property. Because that's the way it was. I've seen him try to shoot cats and dogs and anything like that. No feeling to it because my father's from the South. He don't have no uh, feelings for that. You know, growing up the way he grew up, you know, a lot of African Americans, if you want to say it like that, a lot. I didn't say all, you know, people did not treat animals like they treat now with dressing up in clothes and giving them fruits and vegetables and making a big fuss over them as if they were children. Back then, if you were not a human being, you were subject to death. If you do anything wrong, the dog, the horse, didn't matter. Especially in the South, they will shoot you in a minute. No feelings, period. And but now I had to say that. But we live in a time now where people look at their pets as children, and they spend a lot of money on their pets, and they want their pets to have insurance and eat fruits and vegetables. And I've always made a joke about, you know, putting vegetables and fruits in cans and giving your dogs. And look, when you got sharp teeth, you were meant to be a canine. You were meant to eat flesh and blood. Unless you wouldn't, God wouldn't have gave it to them in the first place. If God wanted them to be vegetarians, he would have made them vegetarians. That's the way I feel about it. But moving on from that. So, but anyway, so she sucks it up and she goes to the neighbor's house. The husband comes to the door and she's like, I just want to apologize. It's yes, your attorney called my attorney and said that you was going to apologize. And I just want you to know that I'm really sorry and I'm really sorry. And he's like, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The wife is in the background with her hands on her hip going, and did you tell her what she better do, what she has to do? Yes, and the husband's trying to have a little bit more decorum in class. And he's like, well, you know, we recommend that you sign some papers and go to anger management. And then they show her in her mind choking him like, I want to choke you to death, man. So she's like, yes, 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 yes. Okay, okay, okay. She's going along with this thing. She hates him. And so her biggest mistake, tell what the biggest mistake was, Clay.
She announces that, oh, I'm a licensed psychologist. I can find my own therapist. I don't need
Psychotherapy.
y'all to give me a list of recommendations.
And I'm like,
Like
are
it's a
you out of your
like it's a
freaking mind? You're going to tell them that you are a licensed psychotherapist? Are you out of your freaking mind? Well, you should have saw how the husband raised his eyes, right? He's like, what? You're that nutty? And you treating other people? You have patience, you crazy person, you? That's how he looked at her. So she goes off and she's driving and she's like, okay, she's happy because her daughter has hugged her from court. And she's like, I'm having a good day. She's driving, da, da, da. She's singing her songs. And she hears them go, bam. And she's like, what was that? What was that? What was that? Tell what happened, quick.
so she hits the dog.
Oh my gosh.
Which I didn't even see the dog coming, which was pretty odd.
Yeah. I saw something. I saw her going like this, squinting her eyes. I didn't really see it that well. But she goes and gets out of the car. This is a huge dog, right? It looked like a damn small
I thought it
pony.
was like a pit bull.
Oh my
Maybe I'm
God,
wrong.
the dog is big. And she goes and she sees, she's like, oh my God. I tell you, it's a dog. And it's that dog. I'm going to go to jail for sure. They're going to think I murdered the dog. I'm like, oh my God. And she's crying. She's laying her head on the dog. I'm like, Lord have mercy. Help this woman, please. And her friend Samantha, her ex-friend, who's now trying to make up to her, Samantha, the one that's now saying Owen, and the one that also slept with Cooper back in the day.
Sam.
Sam. I said Sam.
Played by
Samantha.
Olivia Munn. Yeah.
Yeah. So she goes, "What's wrong? Oh my God, a dog! You hit a dog." She goes, "Not just any dog. The neighbor that I had to go to court with apologize. They're going to think I killed this. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault." I'm like, "Yeah, Sam." So I knew Sam was going to suggest that they bury that dog because we're talking about a person who shot her husband who was already dead to collect the money. So I know what kind of person she is. After all, when he met her, she was working in the clubhouse as a waitress, and now she's rich. But her mindset is still the same. So just we can handle this. So there they are, out there digging to bury the damn dog. And I'm like, are you out of your freaking mind? I'm thinking they're in the woods. They're on the property. Yeah, you are certifiable. Both of you are. You both need to be put in jail because why would you do it on the property? And then what happens, Clay? The water sprinkler
Yep,
goes
the
on.
Mars. Yep. They set it off, and
Oh
it
my
felt like the poop
God.
scene from last week all over again.
I'm
Or
thinking,
I was expecting them to get caught or something like that, and everybody's always getting wet or trapped in something.
I'm thinking, now you got to try to stop the water flow. You're both getting wet, full of mud, and you're going to try to pick up this dog and bury it. I said to Clay, what's going to happen? It's going to be a bloody, muddy mess. Because once you try to seal it up and everything, it's just going to be a mess. The water's going to keep coming up and the dog's on top of the water. What's going to happen? Dog going to go floating. This is going to be a nasty mess. I'm like, how stupid can you be? Not to pick up the dog, wrap it up, and take it to the woods or somewhere, not in your own damn backyard. Does that make any sense?
I think it wasn't even theirs. It was
It does.
it was the neighbor's home.
That's even more insane. This woman is going to end up in jail for sure, and her husband's going to end up in jail for the robberies. And this is what we call friends and neighbors. I'm like, what friends and neighbors? These people are frenemies. But again, like I said, it's all about the money. It's all about the money and honey in this show, right?
Absolutely crazy, as I
So
always
what did you
say.
think about this episode?
It's a good episode. I liked it. It was well paced. I felt. I do feel as though Elena's backstory, not backstory, but Elena's stories kind of is backburnered. Like they bring her up briefly, then they don't bring it up again. They kind of show her, but they don't really do a full deep dive like they did last season in season one.
Well, my feeling is that the reason why is because they gave her a lot of airtime. Um, I think you in here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they gave her a lot of airtime the last couple of shows, episodes, and so
Really? Okay.
yeah, I felt it was time to start showing Grace more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt that Grace should be seen more and talk more about Barney's life and everything. And also, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to see Elena and all of them in that dirty hallway and that, I won't say dirty, well, it did look dirty, dingy apartment. That's not
Yeah,
exciting
it's
to
supposed
me.
to be a show about rich people.
Yeah,
So
I don't
I
want
guess
to.
you don't
I
want
don't want to see all that dinginess.
it. You
I'm
know, we
sorry.
also haven't seen Lou. We
I
haven't
want to
seen
see pretty houses and lawns and clothes and parties. I don't want to see Elena and all of those people speaking Spanish and I can't understand and they all threatening to kill each other. You better get the money. This is not that kind of show, you know.
Yeah, you know who they
It's
also
not a Compton robber show. You know.
they also haven't shown Lou much this whole season. You know, the pawn shop owner. They show her like the
I
first
don't want to
couple.
see her all the time behind that gate sitting there all day.
Yeah, I
Please.
just felt that she was so central in season one, and we never even saw. Remember her assistant? I guess the white guy with the bald head.
Oh, he just had a cameo
He
appearance. I
had a
don't even
cameo
remember him.
series barely season
I
episode
don't
one,
even
and
remember him.
we've yet to see him again. So
Mhm.
I'm just saying because they're the kind of the backbone of. Well, I guess because Barney kind of took over the cleaning money, the clean money, the cleaning of the money aspect of it. That's why we don't see Lou anymore. But I don't know. It'd be nice to see Lou again before the season's out. We got 2 episodes left.
Well, that's what you want to see. That's not what I want. I want to see. I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen with Sam and Mel with this situation with the dog, because at first I was getting sick of this thing with the dog.
Yeah,
The
I was
dog
getting I
crap.
was getting real
I'm
tired.
trying to watch my show and eat my food. I don't even see no dog taking a crap on TV with a big pile of
It
crap.
looks like generic brand chocolate ice cream.
Ew, disgusting, Clay. Your imagination. Ew. No,
You scoop it out. It's like,
okay, enough. That's gross. But anyway, so that's the show, and this is where we are, and we look forward to
we
viewing
got
the
two
next
more
one.
episodes left.
Like, share, subscribe, and now we got hype too, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what else will YouTube think of? But anyway, watch the show. Tell us what you think. We are looking forward to actually meeting them. And so, because I love entertainment, I love film, I love storylines, and I love interviewing, and it's fun. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I haven't seen John Hammond at courtside Nick games. He's a big Nick fan. He hasn't been around, I guess, doing all the press for his show and his new movie. He's taking up his time, but he's a big Nick fan. He's usually around Spike Lee and all them courtside. But yeah, it's kind of interesting not seeing him at the games much this year.
Yeah. Surprisingly, this show is doing better than what I thought it would. What
It
was
would.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
It's a sleeper show.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste.
They don't really promote it enough, in my opinion, in the social media streets like they do the other top shows like Euphoria, which we don't really cover,
Yeah.
and our other show, The Testament, they hype that up more, and now Nemesis on Netflix. It
Yes.
seems like this show is it's like that diner that everybody goes to, but they don't ever hype it up. It's like it's a sleeper show.
Oh, yeah. But it's a good one.
It's a great one. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I love that show," but yeah, you don't nobody you would never know unless you ask somebody. It's kind of weird
Yeah.
how there's not too many other review shows covering it, like like us. So
Yeah.
interesting.
All right. So watch it again with us. And we are glad that you have sat and listened to us talk. And we enjoy coming out and sitting and having fun with you guys. And we look forward to you watching us again discuss Friends and Neighbors. So we're also going to be doing Testament, which we're getting ready to do right now
And
as we close and talk to you later.
yeah, toodaloo.
What you